Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we have a John Doe unidentified African American male found College Park, Georgia. Um, Estimated age is 35 to 50 years old. Estimated height is 5'8". Estimated year of death is between 1990 and 1995. Estimated PMI years. Skeletal remains found in a wooded area. DNA analysis indicates that Decedent may be a biological relative of unidentified female remains found in Screven County, Georgia. Nearly all of the skeleton was recovered. Partial skeleton parts only. Blue plastic comb found near the body, long sleeve synthetic blue shirt with red, gray, green, and blue stripes. Size medium with favorites label, heavy blue coat with gray lining, gray to dark brown knit pants. And I'm wondering, how is he related? Do they know how he was related? If he's related to her, it's not going to be his wife. It would have to be like a sister, an aunt, mother, cousin, something like that, a blood relative, for them to be able to tell that they're related. And how far apart were they found? And did they die around the same time? Do they know when her estimated age of death was? So these are like 3 hours apart. And I couldn't find a Jane Doe found in that county. I don't know if you can or not. This is headed towards Savannah, and he's all the way out here by Atlanta. So if you have any family members, loved ones, friends that went missing, that also may have had a relative that went missing, sister, cousin, mother, aunt, make sure that they're in NamUs. Make sure that they've actually been reported missing and that they're actually been put into NamUs. If not, if you can't do that, see if you can't put them in the Charlie Project and the Doe Network. I really like the Doe Network because the way it's searchable and things. But here's a picture of what he may have looked like. So then we're going to look at some missing persons. And he was estimated to be 35 to 50 years old. But I'm including him because he went missing with his sister. Where's Brunswick, Georgia? We're going to add that. Bruns. See if it's anywhere near either one of these. Okay. Okay, so he went missing, and I'm going to include this. Hold on. Because I know he's got a good Charlie Project information on there. If it pulls up. Because I would like to include that. And I thought. Usually it comes right up. Maybe he's not on the Charlie Project anymore. Charlie Project usually has some very interesting information on it. There it is. So he went missing with his sister, so they're related, right? And he's about 5'7", and he weighed about 125 pounds. He went missing in 1989. The estimated year of death is 1990 to 1995. The height is pretty close. The age is not, but I've seen the age be off before, so I'm not gonna go crazy on that. Michael and his older sister Monica were last seen at the Heritage Apartments, now known as Merritt Landing Apartments. They reportedly went to help their stepfather, who was separated from their mother, move into another apartment on the day of their disappearance. The stepfather told police he dropped the two off at the apartment complex, but their mother, Deborah George, said she never saw them. Their older sister, Sheila Wigfall, who was living with her biological father at the time of her siblings' disappearance, said she remembered Monica told her that she didn't want to go home that evening. That was 3 hours before Monica and her brother were reported missing. Okay? And this is Monica. So if she was, I don't know if they identified the Jane Doe and found out who it was that they found in Screven County, Georgia, but I didn't see her on NamUs. So I'm wondering, maybe they identified her, maybe they would know who this is then, but I don't know, it's not on there. 15 years old at the time. So now I'm going to let you see the Charlie Project and a little bit of what happened. But you see, if they went missing here, and if one of them was found there and one of them was found there, I don't know if it could be them. I have no idea. So this is the Charlie Project, and it says he was 14 years old, 5'7", 725 pounds, according to this. Him and his sister Monica were last seen at the Heritage Apartments in the 5700 block of Altima Avenue, Brunswick, Georgia, June 21st, 1989. Their mother, Deborah George, and her husband, Robert George, were separated, and Michael and Monica were staying with other relatives. They weren't even staying with them. Monica with her biological father, and Michael with Robert's first wife and his half-siblings on his father's side. Robert had still been married to his first wife when Michael was born, and Michael did not take his last name. Robert's first wife treated Michael very well and accepted him into the family. Later, Robert divorced his wife and married Deborah, and they had 4 daughters. There were reports that Monica and Michael were helping pack up Robert's apartment in preparation for his upcoming move to Alabama, and that they disappeared after he dropped them off at their mother's residence. However, according to the Bennett children's siblings, Robert's apartment was nearly empty at the time, so he didn't need any help packing up. So they don't know. So that doesn't make any sense according to what this information is, which I don't know if it's accurate or true, but it's just what's on here. So Monica was very close to her oldest sister, Sheila Wigfall. By 1989, Wigfall was no longer living at home, although she was still in high school at Glen Academy, which Michael and Monica also attended. Wigfall was married, pregnant with her first child, and living with her in-laws, but she and Monica spoke to each other every day at school. Early in 1989, Monica had gone to Sheila Wigfall, her sister, at school, and said that Robert had been sexually abusing her and she didn't want to go home. Her sister took her to the school guidance counselor's office, and the guidance counselor took him to the police. When Deborah found out about her daughter's allegations, she told the police she didn't believe them and thought Monica was just making the stories up because she didn't want to live at home anymore. The matter was dropped without any follow-up from the authorities. Even though years earlier, Deborah had walked in on Robert sexually abusing her then 13-year-old sister. And even after one of Monica's sisters caught Robert trying to sneak into her room at night, Deborah refused to believe Robert was abusing Monica. Michael was very close to Robert and didn't believe Monica's allegations either until late spring he walked in on Robert molesting his sister. Michael told Deborah what he'd seen, and this is when Deborah and Robert separated. Michael moved in with Robert's first wife, and Monica moved in with her biological father. Little is known about Monica's father, but her family stated she would not have chosen to live with him except for a lack of better options. Robert and Deborah's other children stayed with Deborah and saw their father on weekends. Michael and Monica disappeared weeks after Robert and Deborah's separation. Although he'd just gotten an apartment in Brunswick, Robert decided to move back to his home state of Alabama. I don't know what city. By the day of Michael and Monica's disappearance, Robert's apartment was almost entirely packed up, with only some bedding and essentials still unpacked. On the afternoon of June 21st, Robert went to his ex-wife's house, told Michael to get in the car with him so Michael could help him pack. Michael didn't want to go with him and was crying when they left together. Robert then picked Monica up from her father's house and they went to Robert's apartment complex. Why would anybody let Monica go with him? And Michael after all this happened. So the children's aunt was also living at the complex across the courtyard from Robert's apartment, and Michael and Monica made a surprise visit to her before dark that evening and had something to eat at her apartment. When she walked them out at 8:30 p.m., she saw Robert outside. Michael and Monica walked away, and Robert spoke to their children's aunt and asked her to intercede with Deborah and get her to let him come home. The aunt called Deborah on a payphone, and then Robert spoke to Deborah on the phone as Monica and Michael walked up the hill ahead and out of sight. This is the last time anyone besides Robert has seen them. Robert later gave two different stories about their disappearance. One was that they ran out of his apartment while he was there and never came back, and the second was that he dropped them off, went away to run some errands, he came back, and they were gone. Curiously, the police report about Michael and Monica's disappearance said that Robert called Deborah at 8:30 p.m. to say the children were missing, and while he was speaking to them on the phone at the time, according to the children's aunt, they were within eyesight and they were not yet missing. According to Michael and Monica's younger sisters, later that evening, Robert picked them up from their mother's home and drove in the streets around John's apartment complex, slowly looking around. He didn't call out their names. He didn't ask anybody if they'd seen them. He then took the children to his apartment. One of the girls recalled that one of the beds at the apartment was missing its sheets and comforter, and she noticed two trash bags in the apartment by the front door, which Robert said contained Monica and Michael's belongings. And it makes you wonder if it didn't contain them. But who knows what it contained. That's just, I gotta not speculate. But within a few days, Robert's car disappeared. His children never found out what happened to his car. So then you also wonder if they were in the car, or if there was some kind of evidence in the car. He and Deborah reconciled within a few weeks of them disappearing. They took their remaining children and they moved to Alabama on a bus, leaving Wigfall behind in Georgia, the sister. Many of Monica and Michael's relatives believe Robert was involved in their disappearance. Deborah's mother described him as controlling, manipulative, and violent, who occasionally beat them and the siblings. And he had violent episodes. And after the move, according to them, after the move to Alabama, Deborah would occasionally leave her husband, but would always return to him. Often when she left, she would leave their children behind in his care. Robert's brother has also been mentioned as possibly having been involved with Michael and Monica's cases, or at least knowing what happened to them. He had lived with the family off and on for years, and Robert had also lent him money. Sheila Wigfall, I think that was her name, stated he sexually abused her when she was young, and Deborah had warned the other children to stay away from him. For decades after Michael and Monica's disappeared, the police wrote them off as runaways. Both Robert and Deborah said they had run away and that Monica had a boyfriend who was involved with drugs. The police took reports for their disappearance, but didn't actually investigate until the early 2000s when the children were reclassified as endangered missing. The Bennett children didn't take any money or belongings when they disappeared, and there's been no record of their existence anywhere in the county since 1989. Foul play is suspected. So they are related. And this is Brunswick, and there's College Park. I don't know if that could be him or not. Like I said, sometimes the age is off. This could be somebody different. But I just wanted to mention them with this case. Okay, and then who else? We have, and like I said, I don't know if this information is true, where they get their information from, but there it is. And then we have Judson Lee Fielding, missing since 1994 from Augusta, Georgia, 40 years old. on the afternoon of December 4th. Oh, he left his mother's residence. And it says he went to visit family. He had been in prison. He was going to testify against somebody, and somebody says he was an ex-Marine. He was pulling himself together. He was planning to testify against Willie Carl Hankerson Jr. Some arrest involvement in the delivery of PCP to Hankerson. December 2005, Leo Utley was arrested for conspiring to kill and killing Fielding and another witness in the case, Charles Joseph Winfield, at Hankerson's direction. Utley killed himself in Oklahoma Federal Transfer Center, December 25th, 2005. Hankerson was sentenced to 17 years in prison. Hankerson said he and his brother and his cousin found Fielding in Augusta, tied him up, forced him to admit he was cooperating with federal authorities. And Utley arrived a short time later, taped his mouth shut with duct tape, and put him in the back of a van, killed him and got rid of the body, and his body's never been found. And so those are the missing persons that I have. And like I said, if you have a loved one that is missing, family member or relatives, make sure that they're actually reported missing. Make sure that their case is in NamUs. Search for them. Make sure they're there. And if not, if you can't get them put in NamUs, and even if you have them in NamUs, I would try to get them. I would try to put them in the Charlie Project and the Doe Network as well. Don't forget to contact authorities with any information you may have. Please pray for these people's families and their loved ones. And feel free to leave comments and have a blessed day. Bye-bye.